Welcome to another episode of Business Bros. Woo! What up, ladies and gentlemen? We are ready to rock and roll. Hernan C.S. here, host of the Business Bros podcast, along with my co-host,
the insurance bro, James C.S. And boy, do we have another fun-filled show ready to go for you.
100%, dude.
Every time, man. Every time.
So I always like to let the audience know this is not a Facebook Live recording.
Not a Facebook Live recording.
So you're going to have to go to YouTube at Business Bros Pod or YouTube.
Podcast.
Or, well, podcast to hear it audio, but if you want to watch the video, it's going to be on YouTube. So
wait, so we don't post the videos on Facebook at all?
Only the live ones.
Only the live ones?
So if you want to catch up on all the old stuff, the best place to go is to YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. But yeah, we're doing extra episodes because we got to get ahead of the game. We promised you guys that we would be putting out one podcast episode Monday through Friday. So here we are recording after we've already recorded the live show with the Wealth Junkies, which is super awesome,
fun.
right?
Super fun.
And so now we're going to record another episode so we have more content for you guys to have on a daily basis. So
I can take a day off maybe.
So, yeah, well, that's what happens, right? We end up taking days off. We're called the holidays.
That's how it works. That's how it works.
So,
yeah, speaking of holidays, we're not taking the holiday off next Monday.
No, I think we're going to go to the 2020 vision.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a thing.
Well, yeah, I might have to cut out right in the middle, but
we got a podcast at 4 o'clock. So
exactly. No. I mean, like at noon for me.
Oh, well, maybe I might have to do the same thing.
Yeah,
but I still want to go check it out because there's going to be a lot of people we know there. So we're going to stop by and say hello at the very least.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, 100 sweaters, hoodies, blankets is what we're shooting for. So we got some, I know, coming in the mail, different packages, different pickup opportunities that are coming up, but we haven't quite picked any up yet, so the thermometer is still technically at 0. But if you have a hoodie or a sweater or a blanket that you want to donate, please let us know. 619-884-0045 or james at csfirst.com so we can hop on his Harley, pick those up. We greatly appreciate it, and you're keeping somebody warm on these cold nights here in San Diego.
It is
California
definitely
cold.
Chilly. Yeah, California cold. It's a whole 58 degrees at 5 o'clock.
So,
but man, this morning I actually put on some gloves and my face mask to ride to the office
because it's cold.
It's chilly.
Yeah. So hoodies and blankets, please. James is the insurance bro. Pipeline Insurance is our insurance company. So if you guys need help with your homeowners, maybe you need help with your general liability, workers' comp, whatever it is, make sure you hit up James 619-884-0045 or james at csfirst.com. We also want to help you add insurance into your business. It's simple.
Yes.
Get an insurance license, which we can help you do, and then you can earn a commission. Or if you just want to send us a referral, we're thankful for those too. By the way, we want to do this cool thing. Thanks to shout out to Ollie because we had a conversation with him today, and he popped this idea. He doesn't know it yet, but
shout out.
He popped this idea in my head, and so we're gonna start implementing something like this too. You, Mr. or Mrs. Loan Officer, want to add an additional value to your client, send us a declaration page for their insurance. We'll look at the holes in their coverage, kind of send you back basically a risk analysis of where they're at, but we're going to send it to you in video format so that you can share it with your client, and you can go to your client and say, look, we went above and beyond. We partnered with Pipeline Insurance, and here's the coverage gaps that they found, what they think is needed, and if you want to go with them, great. If not, at least you got this information in front of you. So it's an extra value add that we're going to provide for you guys.
We're all about educating our customers and making sure that they understand why they're buying insurance in the first place.
They got to know, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of insurance, and that's a funny thing, a lot of insurance is just because you have to.
Yes.
Right? You're going to buy a house, bank says you have to have homeowners insurance. You want to drive a car, state of California says you have to have auto insurance, right? But
employees, workers' comp.
You want to start a business, you're going to rent a place, you need to have that general liability. Yeah, everybody tells you that you have to have insurance, but a lot of people don't understand what they're purchasing, why they're purchasing it, aside from because they have to. And so that's one of the things that we really want to take an opportunity to look at. And if you're a lender out there and you want to add a little bit of extra value to your customers, we'd be happy to take a look at the declarations page, which you're collecting anyway. We'll scrub it, take a look at what coverages they currently have, what coverages they could be missing out on, what they, just looking for holes and gaps in the coverage, just to make sure that they are fully covered so that if anything happens to their home, they don't lose it, or they're not out of pocket, and then they wind up not being able to make those mortgage payments, and they lose their home. And we want to avoid all that. We want your customers to stay in their homes for the long term, so they can call you when they want to refi.
Exactly.
Or sell.
So one more time, 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. All right, dude. So you had an epiphany.
I had an apostrophe.
You had an apostrophe. Lightning has struck your brain.
It did. It happened last night. It was a cool little event that I was at. But when I was introducing myself, when I was, starting to meet people.
Well, tell me the story. Like what?
Sure.
What's going on? Where were you doing? And you had an interaction. Tell me the story, because it kind of.
Yeah, just like jumping right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So Vanessa and I were at the small bar in Normal Heights, and we were over at an event called Poly Cocktails, and we were meeting up with a bunch of poly folks, and I was just being introduced to a couple of ladies, and they were asking about what do we do, and Vanessa turns around and says, well, I'm a special. I work in education, and I work with special needs kids. And the ladies were like, oh, that seems really nice. And Vanessa started explaining what she does and the passion that she has for her kids.
She lit up.
She really lit up. She did. She really loves her job, and definitely had that. Yeah. It was obvious. It was obvious passion, that she loves what she does. Yeah.
And the ladies you were being introduced to, they could see that.
Totally, absolutely. And so then, the conversation shifted over to me. They asked me, well, what do you do? And I kind of shrugged my shoulders and was like, I'm in the insurance industry. And they're
lame.
Like, yeah, super lame. Super lame. And they were like, oh, okay, that's cool. And Vanessa looked at me and she goes, no. You are not just in the insurance industry. And I love that she pushed me that way.
She called you on your BS, dude.
She totally did. She called me on it because I was like, okay, you're right. It's just, I'm a little embarrassed to say this because it sounds so grandiose and braggadocious, right? I try to be humble, but look, the truth is what I really do is I help people, I empower people to create wealth for today and generational wealth for tomorrow.
That sounds wow. Tell me more.
That's exactly the reaction that I got. Then the ladies looked at me and they were like, huh? What does that mean? Then I get to start telling them, okay, so I manage an insurance company, and one of the things that we specialize in, one of the things that we really love to do is taking brand new agents that haven't ever written insurance before and teaching them to be successful agents. Not only that, but we're partnering with a bunch of people in other industries, loan officers and real estate agents and other people in the financial services industry that can also benefit from having a way of generating more income through insurance. So these are the things that I'm doing, and I'm putting together these systems. I'm building a business that's surrounding that, and by providing these services, by doing all of these things, I'm helping people create wealth for today. And one of my other passions is life insurance. Life insurance is something that most people don't carry. It's the true sale of insurance products because it's the one product that somebody isn't telling you that you have to have. It's the one that you have to choose to buy. But it's the one that's really going to protect your family and the people that you love the most, because when you die, we're all going to die. When you die, are you going to leave behind an inheritance or are you going to leave behind bills?
Ooh.
And when I start talking like that, all of a sudden, now I'm the one that's looking passionate.
You're lit up, dude.
I'm lit up. So that was my big epiphany. Wasn't so much that I empower others to create wealth for today and generational wealth for tomorrow. I've known that already. I've been working on that statement for a while. But as Vanessa and I were driving home, I realized that, damn it, I've put a lot of work into that why statement.
Mm-hmm.
That was hours of meditation and pages and pages and pages of journaling and just thinking about why do I do the things that I do. And when we were talking today to Brandon and Will, thank you, from the Wealth Junkies, one of the things that they said was, by doing this daily podcast, we're doing things that other people won't to have results that other people don't.
Yes.
Right? And so I put that work into figuring out my why statement. I put the work into determining why I get up in the morning. I put the work into the business that I've built. I've put the work into the systems. I put the work. So not so much that it all happens and it's all revolving or around me, but it is something that I have permission to be proud of.
Absolutely.
That was my epiphany. Is I have permission to be proud of my accomplishments.
And who gave you permission, by the way?
Me.
You earned permission.
Well, I mean, I suppose that I earned it. Sure. I did a lot of work to get us to this point, but the only one that was standing in the way of me being proud of it was me. I just have this I sit here and I laugh as I'm about to say this, because one of the things that you love is the idea of being rich and famous.
Yes.
Right? You love the notoriety, and I'm the complete opposite. I'm like, nope. Don't notice me. Don't notice me. Don't know that I exist. You don't need to know. And there's a humility to that, but I guess there is such a thing as humble to a fault.
Yeah. Right?
And the fault is when I don't express the passion for the things that I do, and it really is a passion. I never thought I would say this, growing up, but I love the insurance industry. I love what I do. I love teaching people how to integrate insurance into whatever business that they already have. I love teaching people why insurance is important. I love giving homeowners that aha moment when I tell them, hey, if you don't have enough car insurance, guess what? You could lose your house. And they're like, what? And I have to sit there and explain all of that. And, when I educate others and give other people power to have wealth for today and then teach them how to get generational wealth for tomorrow, I really do get passionate. And I'm depriving myself of that by being overly humble.
I'll take it one step further. You're depriving others.
Ooh.
Because that's what happened yesterday. You've put in all this work. You've blocked yourself from accepting or just, being able to be comfortable with talking about how much you love the insurance industry and what you do, to the point that when somebody asked you to your face, what is it that you do? You chicken shitted and went in the corner.
I totally did.
You copped out the answer. Your answer was, I'm insurance. Think about all the people that we talk to in sales, in any type of sales industry. You have to have your elevator pitch, right? How valuable is that elevator pitch? It's 10 seconds. Tell me what it is you do.
I empower others to create wealth for today and generational wealth for tomorrow.
That is attractive.
That
lights up people. People want. It's a curiosity thing. But you've deprived yourself of that.
I did. I totally did. And it was so obvious. And thank you, Vanessa. I love you for calling me out on that. Because it was, she really did. She looked at me and she said, you do more than just work in the insurance industry. And so much more.
See, if you think about people who are in the insurance industry, but they're more like W-2 people in the insurance industry. Mm-hmm. They're going to come out with that answer.
Right.
I'm in insurance. Right? Yeah. That's what happens to those people.
I work in claims.
I'm in servicing. Whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Because they haven't put the blood, sweat, and tears into what it is that you're doing. They haven't defined their why. I'm not saying that those people can't have the same passion behind what they do.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that a lot of them do, because to work in claims and to work in the service, department, you have to really.
There's ups and downs.
There's
right?
ups and downs.
There's emotions that go on. The client is going through something, right?
And they're gonna know when you care and when you don't.
Absolutely. And so there are people who really do care, but I think it comes down to what you were talking about. Not so much the insurance part, right? Mm-hmm. that you learn that is an experience. It's what you did to dig deep within yourself, like to take the time to figure out, you could answer, anybody else can answer, I'm in the insurance. But if you can say, you know what, I help people at the worst possible time in their lives. When they're going through a traumatic incident, I help them come out on the other side, whole or whatever, you know what I mean? That's a whole different description. That's how they feel about what it is that they do. That's not describing what they do. It's how they feel about what they do. And I think that's a big determining factor. You always talk about how you wear your heart on your sleeve. and that's true for a lot of different things, but when it came to the insurance thing, there was no heart in there.
No, there wasn't.
You were like Grinching it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Grinch. I like it. No heart. No, there wasn't. It really was like, it's funny because I have seen so much success from the podcast, from the business, and everything that we've done over the past 6 years, and even, everything that you've done before that, the 8 years, the 8 year gap.
We've never talked about the 8 year gap.
We never did talk about the 8 year gap on the show. But everything that we've done, everything that has come from all the efforts that we've made, we have a lot to be proud of, and I don't like to brag. And that's like a thing that stops me from really telling people, this is what I do, this is what I love. Like, we have done a lot. I'll be honest, I honestly feel like I've been lucky to just have the right people around me at the right time to get me to where I am. But that doesn't discount the work that I've put into it either.
Mm-hmm. Well, luck favors the prepared, right?
Luck favors the prepared.
You were in a position where, during those 8 years, you're right. I did lay a lot of the groundwork and put you in a position where you met a lot of good people. But dude, this company would be nowhere where it's at if it wasn't for the efforts that you put into it. Mm-hmm. Like everything that is operational within our San Diego agency was put in place because of what you did. I mean,
it was a growing and learning process.
It still is.
It still is. Every day it still is. And, we've been lucky enough to have a lot of people that have been patient with us and worked with us and grown with us and learned with us. Because, that's the honest to God truth, is that the agents that we've had on our team, there are so many of them that can be successful elsewhere.
Yes.
Have been successful elsewhere. They've done other things. They've been successful. They could take their insurance business and move it elsewhere. But we've been lucky enough to keep them on board with us. They like us. And we work really well with a lot of really great people. And the only thing that I've really done is, try and put some kind of order to it.
Yeah, but the reason why they stay is because that passion that you talked about, when you finally lit up at the bar, right? When you finally lit up about what it is that you do, our agents see that. They see that in the daily meetings. They see that in the struggles that when they have, you go to bat for them. Like, they see that passion, which is why they stay. Which is why when you were at the bar and you started to dive into what it is that you actually do, right? That's why those people were interested in that. That's why the conversation was like, oh, tell me more.
Yep.
Because people see that interaction. They see that passion. And so, yeah, don't discount it.
Don't discount it, dummy.
Well, let's help the audience kind of figure out what was the why process. Well, talk to me a little bit about how you came up with your why, because that is a very short why compared to what it was last year when we talked. It was a very long why.
Well,
and it's still part of your.
That's only the first part of it. So
Okay.
It's empowering others to create wealth for today, generational wealth for tomorrow, so that, right? That's the second part of the why statement. So that we can all thrive in the abundance of life and pass that opportunity on to our descendants.
And see, but that little bit, the very beginning part. Like, how did you get to that?
How did I get to that?
I mean, and here's the thing. Like, I've fine-tuned my why quite a bit, but it's nowhere near
Danny.
Oh, that was a quick answer.
Danny. So when Danny died last year, we didn't have money to bring him home, and that was pretty devastating for the kids, and Alexis still tells me, that she's traumatized in ways because she never really got to say goodbye to her dad. And if we had been able to get that life insurance that we wanted to on him, I think we would have been able to have the opportunity to go out there and see him or bring him home or something. And the more that I thought about that, the more that I realized that there are people in Danny's circle who have never had any financial education. And yeah, you're right. When I started last year, it was like empower people through financial education to, and there was more to it. And part of that is still there, but the big thing is that people have not had the education. People have not been told, hey, you should have life insurance. And if they have been told you should have life insurance, they're like, oh, this guy's just a salesperson. He's just trying to make money off of me, blah, 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 blah. And for me, am I going to make money off of it? Yes. Okay. We're not working for free here, but I'm not doing it because I want to make money off of it. I'm doing it because I don't want anybody else to be in the situation that I was in, where I couldn't bring my brother home to see him when he was killed in another state. I don't want anybody to go through that. I don't want anybody to go through a situation where, as they start to get older, they start to lose their functions, right? They can't think anymore. They can't take care of themselves anymore. They need to have somebody who is consistently there to take care of them. You know what? There's a life insurance product that will help you have long-term care when you get old and you start to lose it. Okay? I mean, there's so many things that life insurance can do for others, do for your family, that you would not be able to afford on your own. And that's what I want to help people with. Because if we set ourselves up, if we set up our family to make sure that, hey, when mom gets a little bit older, dad gets a little bit older, whatever it is, who's going to take care of them? You know what? We're going to have somebody there that we can pay to take care of them, because there's going to be a life insurance product there to handle that expense. We're not going to have to come out of pocket for that. So many people try to come out of pocket for it. Do you know how much it costs to put somebody up in a home?
Yeah, it's about $4,000 a month.
Something Easy. Like $4,000 a month.
Easy.
And right now we're 35, 36, 37. Shoot, I'm missing a year.
It happens.
30 years from now, when we are retirement age, I mean, we're not going to be, at that age where we need to be put in a home yet, but 50 years from now, 60 years from now, how much is it going to cost to be put in a home?
More than $4,000.
More than $4,000.
Just with inflation alone.
Just with inflation. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that life insurance can do for people that they're not aware of, that one day they're going to wind up coming out of pocket on. And all I want to do is save people that heartache.
That's huge, because I mean, with Danny, it was tough. Yeah, one was expensive. The other one was he was stuck in another state. That was kind of a whole different situation. I mean, that was a unique situation. But people go through these types of situations all the time, right? Do. People pass away and it's sudden, it's abrupt. You don't know. It was a random car accident or a freak accident, or you didn't wake up one day. Stuff happens. And you're not prepared for it. You see car washes all the time in San Diego, right? All the time, because
in memory of
raising funds for,
loving memory. Yep.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's the type of situation that we want to avoid, because I mean, that's only scraping the surface. When you see a car wash, it's usually because you just got to pay for the hole in the ground, the box, and the services.
Yep.
That doesn't even take into account the leftover family members, or
the debt that was left over, the death taxes,
anything that's left over. Nothing is taken into account, because we all have this weird complex. We all know we're gonna die. Mm-hmm. We just don't think it's gonna happen to us yet.
And see, here's the other thing, right? If it happens when your kids are young, if it happens when you haven't paid off your home, what's going to happen to your spouse and your kids? What's going to happen to their college education opportunities? What's going to happen to that mortgage? Is it going to get paid? Are your kids going to wind up homeless because you didn't put something in place to protect them?
You're compounding the devastation of a death. That's really what ends up happening.
It's true.
It's already devastating enough, the fact that you lost a loved one. Add to that you'll lose your home, or you'll lose your means to feed the family. Like, it just gets worse and worse and worse. It spirals out of control. And this is why that's the passion that you take. That's the difference between, to me,
that's the generational wealth.
That's the generational wealth. But that's when you talk to somebody about these types of things, and you express, this is what I'm trying to look after. Mm-hmm. That's a different sales pitch than, yo, want to buy it for $30 a month? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a whole different ballgame. But, this story originally started with your ability to express what it is you do. Mm-hmm. That is your sales pitch.
It's my willingness to express what it is that I do. It's the willingness to step out of my humble shell and take pride in what I actually do for people.
And this is why sales gets a bad rep, right? Yeah. This is why sales gets a bad rep, because if you approach it with that passion, that willingness to do it, you are selling, but you're not that sleazy car salesman. That's not what your intention is. But when you said, I'm in the insurance business, that's sleazy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That is actually you trying to be humble and not talk about what it is
more sleazy.
Sounded more sleazy than if you actually had the passion behind you. People are going to gravitate and do business with us and do business with you because of that passion that you have behind you, because you actually care. They know you care.
It's actually more vulnerable for me to step out and say, I help others create wealth for today and generational wealth for tomorrow. Like, that's more vulnerable than to say, I work in the insurance industry. That's like a security gate.
You're
That's
stopping
like a guard.
questions. You're blocking people from asking you more. Yeah. Would you say you were afraid of people asking you questions?
Yes. Yeah, like I was afraid of people asking me questions. I was afraid of, talking about work outside of work hours. I was afraid of seeming like more of a big shot than I am. I was afraid of just seeming like I'm more than what I am. But you know what? I am what I am.
I am what I am.
I am what I am. Popeye?
Yeah, I was thinking Eminem. I am what you say I am.
Whatever you say.
Whatever you say. No, but you're right though. It's weird how these things like kind of get flipped on their head, right? Yeah. Like, you being able to have that vulnerability to say, look, this is what I do, and accept it. You're not even worried about what other people think. You're worried about what you think.
That's the funniest thing.
That's the weirdest thing. Like, honestly, most people don't really care about what it is you do. Yet you're not willing to actually describe to them the passion that you have in what it is you do.
Mm-hmm. And that's a funny thing, because I really do have a passion for what I do. And it's so weird for me to have to get out of my own way to tell others that.
This is actually a very good thing for when you're training other people. Like,
it is.
This is the greatest story for them, because a lot of times when you talk to anybody that's entering the sales space, they want to know about scripts and how do I talk on the phone and what do I say on my elevator pitch, and it really comes down to this part. This is what you need to say. This is how you need to dig deep into where you're at and why is it that you're doing this. Like, once you figure out you personally, once you are self-aware of what it is that you do and you get out of your own way, it's not sales anymore. Now it's like, how many more people can I help?
It's just having a conversation now.
How many more people can I help? Right? How many less car washes am I going to see outside because I'm actually willing to say, this is what I do.
Yep. If I can save someone from doing a stupid car wash, please let me help you.
It's amazing, dude. That was a great epiphany,
by
the way. And I'm glad I poked you to tell the story, because it was a damn good story.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, you've been putting some practice into this interview stuff, right? Just little bit. Like
it helps, dude.
370 episodes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So what advice would you give to anybody getting started with their why?
What advice would I give to anybody getting started with their why?
Like the process that you went through, because it took a lot of work.
It did. There's a great book called Finding Your Why by Simon Sinek. He also wrote Start With Why, but I've been told just watch the YouTube on Simon Sinek for the Golden Circle, and you pretty much get the gist of Start With Why. But Finding Your Why was more of a workshop and an introspective workshop. So get a journal, spend time thinking about the things that have shaped you, molded you, and some of the traumatic events that have defined you.
Traumatic
events. And traumatic doesn't necessarily mean bad. It just means defining moments. Like for you, one of your defining moments was the Padres.
Yes, the envelopes.
The envelopes for the Padres. Like that was a defining moment where it was like a paradigm shift. Just something changed. And the most recent thing for me was Danny. And that was just something that was like, this is why. Mm-hmm. This is why I want to do this thing that I'm doing. This is what's going to drive me. This is what's going to propel me. And, I hope that you never have to go, nobody ever has to go through that in order to find, their why statement. But things come from trauma. Things come from events that help shape and mold you, whether it's, just fascinating events or, more tragic events. Either way.
Man, dude, that was a good apostrophe.
Good apostrophe. Good episode.
Good episode. I didn't even talk that much. I love this episode.
I know, right? That's a weird one.
That was a good one.
What? James talks?
Dude, it's funny because yesterday, Rosa was like, hey, you're getting more and more passionate on your show. I'm like, because I'm finding the conviction in the stuff that I want to say, just like you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Like there's a few stories in my life that I get to share that, and when I'm sharing, one of the things that I'm really trying to emphasize is how did I feel at that moment? In that story, in that point in my life, right? Like there's a reason why it's traumatic. There's a reason why it's a mind shift. And how was I feeling at that particular moment? What was going on in my life? Like the other day I told a story about the budgeting, right? And how frustrated I felt because I got in trouble and I wanted to get out of here. But people can relate to that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People relate to the emotions that you feel. And so, today when you're talking about that whole story, that's why I wanted to dig deep into the story because I wanted to know how did you feel?
Facts tell and stories
tell.
Facts
tell, stories tell. There you go. But stories are when you can engage with your audience on that emotional level, then it's a whole different thing than if I'm just telling you.
Yep,
right?
Absolutely.
Like when you're in school and the teacher's just talking at you, it's different than if they're sharing stories with you and engaging with you and getting your emotions in place.
Yep.
So you did a really good job of that today.
Well, you did a really great job bringing that out.
Yeah. Well, I was saying, Rosa was telling me that I'm getting all, into my interviews and talking and getting engaged. And she goes, well, why don't you let James talk? I'm like, it's not that I don't let him talk. It's that he don't want to say anything.
No, most of the time I'm good. I'm just chilling over here saying hi to the people on the Facebook. And
well, you did a damn good job today. So
yeah, well, thank you. Good job interviewing me.
Good job. Yeah. Awesome. All right, ladies and gents, 100 is what we're looking for. It doesn't matter. It could be hoodies, sweaters, blankets. 100 is what we're looking for. So if you guys got them, hit James up 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. As you heard on this episode, insurance is his passion. Pipeline Insurance is the name of our insurance agency. Hit us up 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com for all your insurance needs. You get to work with that guy, that kind of passion behind you. So make sure you guys hit him up as soon as possible. Even if you don't need insurance right now, maybe you want somebody to take a look at your stuff, would love to review it and then give you an idea of where you're at. You don't have to actually buy with us, but at least you have the idea and you get a little bit of a better understanding of what it is
opportunity just to teach you and
teach it to you.
That's
right. So you know what you've got. All right, ladies and gents, that's all we got for you guys today. Peace.
Bye-bye.
And we're out.